Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. Today, I have a very special guest. She is the executive editor of NailPro. Please welcome Miss Stephanie Lavery. Hello, Stephanie. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good,
This is so
Stephanie.
nice to be here. I'm so happy that you asked me to do this.
Yeah, it's such a great honor to interview you because I remember messaging you back in 2012 about how I was so interested in getting into nail art. So it's so great to have you on the show, Stephanie. It's totally awesome. So I wanted to ask about how did you grow up? And also how did you get started into beauty journalism? So if you can talk about your whole story about how you grew up and how you got involved into beauty journalism, that would be great.
Sure. I would say I've always been a writer, even at a young age. I used to write in journals, starting at 10, 11 years old.
Right.
Um, all through high school, I was a writer. I wrote poetry. I wrote, all of the teenage angst, I put out through my writing. And when I graduated high school, I went to college and I majored in English. And I actually had a lot of credits ahead of time,
Hmm.
just coming in with AP credits. And because I jumped right into English right away, I was able to fulfill all of my requirements. So I had a lot of extra time in my last couple of semesters to just sort of
Hmm.
sample different types of classes that I could take. And randomly, I decided to take an astronomy 101 course, and I loved it. I thought it was so fascinating. So I took astronomy 102, and then I started petitioning to take higher level astronomy and astrophysics classes.
Hmm.
And I did an independent study on quasars. Like, I really got into it. So when I graduated from college, I was at Syracuse. I moved to Boston, and Boston University had a science writing program where you could be a science journalist.
Hmm.
You take your writing background, you pair it with science. I was like, great, I am going to explain astronomy to the masses. This is what I 100% I thought I was going to do.
Right.
So I applied to the program, and I did not get in because I come to find out later that they only accepted students that had a science major. And because I had an English major, I was not, I guess I was not able to do it. And so they put me into the print journalism program, which is funny because I don't think you can get a print journalism degree anymore. They don't even have print journalism
Mm,
anymore.
right.
But nevertheless, so I got into their journalism program. And while I was in there, I got an internship with a beauty, fashion, lifestyle magazine called Platinum,
Hmm.
and I loved it. And so I started gearing my classes to more magazine journalism. And when I graduated with my print journalism degree,
Hmm.
as well as a specialty in magazine, ended up working at that Platinum magazine for a number of years. And because I had been interning underneath the beauty director and managing editor,
Hmm.
I was trained entirely by her. And because it was such a small magazine, when she left to follow another opportunity, they basically replaced her position with me. So at a very early age, I was able to really run a magazine as a managing editor, decide the content, and I was the beauty editor too. So I got to do all the fun stuff that came along with that. Um, After that magazine ended up folding, and so I moved to New York, and I got a job as the associate beauty editor for Woman's World magazine.
Hmm.
And again, writing about beauty for the consumer audience. Um, and then at that point, I had spent probably basically all of my 20s on the East Coast, and I'm originally from Los Angeles. So finally, I was like, enough's enough. I'm ready to go home. I miss my family. I miss the weather. So I moved back to Los Angeles, and the very first job I found was for an executive editor for NailPro. And I
Hmm.
was like, well, my experience up to that point was beauty and it was magazine, but it was for the consumer audience. this was obviously for the professional audience, and it was very specific. I mean, I knew some about nails, but certainly not everything that I would need to know. But I went in, I interviewed, and when I got home, they called me and offered me the job. And my very first day on the job was flying up to Sacramento for the NailPro Sacramento Nails Only trade show. It was my very first day.
Wow.
And so I was hit with the, the whole nail industry, basically. And that's kind of it. The rest is history. 14 years later, still running the magazine, still loving it. Nails has become so much a part of who I am. In addition to my journalism and my writing and whatever, I really feel passionate about this industry and feel so blessed to have found my place here.
That's a really, really cool story of just how you first.
As you can see, it goes all over the place.
Yeah, it's like a road that's, you don't know which route it takes you, but it's an interesting route because everyone has their journey as to how they first start. Right. I like how you talked about how you started getting into like scientific related things and then like nail journalism and things of that nature. So it was a really cool story to hear. I wanted to ask, like, what drew you into getting into like nails, like being a whole fanatic of nails? Like, what stood out to you with the nail industry?
I would say that I would consider myself somewhat of an overachiever. I always want to make sure that I am doing my best at whatever I'm doing. And so when I started at NailPro, I knew certainly I had a very strong background in magazine and the written word. That part was not a problem. In fact, I found the easiest things were coming up with the business features, marketing your business, managing a staff. Like these were concepts that, I was familiar with in general. But when it came down to actually learning the details of the nail, learning the parts of the nail, the nail matrix, the hyponychium, what is a C curve, all of the arch placement, I felt like the only way I could truly understand it and be able to impart this information to professionals who are trained in this, who know more about their business. And I'm telling them how to do their business better and having never done it before. The only way I could do it was to dive in 100% head first. So I immediately started getting my nails done. Lisa Comfort, who is an old name in the industry, was doing my nails. And when we would get my nails done, I had acrylic overlays. I would watch her. She would explain to me what she was doing. Every photo shoot we did, I was right there in there with the nail technician, watching them doing it, having them explain to me what they were doing. If it was acrylic, we were talking about mix ratio and consistency. If it was gel, I was learning about cure times and over curing, and I was learning about the natural nail. And in learning, I fell in love with it because, first of all, nails are fun. Like, it's just fun. And it's so precise and it's scientific and they're beautiful. And the technicians who do them are so passionate about their craft. And it's just a lovely, I think, segment of the professional beauty industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm glad with a magazine like yours, it's really cool to see how it's not just so much about the artistry. It's more in depth than that. You have to understand the foundation. That's something I've learned. You have to understand the foundation of how to care for the nail and things of that nature before you get into the artistry of it. The artistry is just the fun part. I got into nail art around like 13 years old. And I was like, oh man, I like all these nail art designs, stuff like that. And it started with my mom getting her nails done. She would get her nails done every 2 weeks. And now I do her nails now at home. I give her manicures and pedicures. I give her designs sometimes. And so it is a true understanding of how to not only create a nail shape or to prepare a nail shape, but also how to design it, how to craft a good looking nail, a good looking structure. Now, Miss Stephanie, I wanted to ask this question, like who inspired you to get into like beauty, especially into nails? Like, was there anybody in your life that really motivated you to get into beauty or to get involved into the nail industry?
I wouldn't say that necessarily. It wasn't like, obviously my path was kind of all over the place growing into my career. There wasn't anyone that truly inspired me, I would say. I mean, I've always been into beauty and aesthetics. And so that it's always been an interest of mine. For myself, I like to do my makeup and my hair and, my nails. And so that's sort of what got me onto that path anyway. I just found a natural affiliation to it. And then, once being in the nail industry, all of these wonderful, talented leaders, again, who are so passionate. I'm inspired by you, who, at such a young age was like, I just love nails and I love nail art, and look where it's taken you. There's so many wonderful stories where people who, women who wanted to support their families and wanted to have a creative outlet went and created this wonderful career for themselves. Or people who had a career doing something else, entirely in finance, and
Yeah.
then decided, this is not fulfilling me creatively, and so have entered into the nail industry. And I think that's what makes it so special. It's I think often, back in the day, they would call nails the ugly stepchild to the rest of the beauty industry. Hair, they put the nail technicians in the back corner in the closet, but it's so much more than that, and I'm so happy that nails are actually celebrated and the career is celebrated more these days.
Mm-hmm. I could definitely agree with that because nails has grown now into a huge, huge thing now. And so I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you, pertaining to the beauty industry and also the fashion industry, what is your whole take with fashion designers collaborating with different nail artists? Because, for example, with C&D, they're known for collaborating with the Blondes, who does extraordinary, amazing like fashion pieces.
Yeah.
And what is your whole take with that combination? So it's not just pertaining to hair and makeup and the fashion garments itself, it's the addition of nails. So what do you think about that? Especially it being so big, it's getting so big now.
Oh yes. I think that it's wonderful. Like I think one of the things that brought nails to the forefront, the reason it's so popular is because I think that the masses became more exposed to it.
Mhm.
So whether it is partnering with fashion designers on runways, and now, like you said, C&D and the Blondes, I mean, amazing stuff. They have meetings for months building up to this, collaborating, coming up with
Right.
designs. I think it really shows people that nails are part of the whole package. I would say back in around 2012, 11, 12, 13, when celebrities started really sporting nail art on the red carpets. I remember Rihanna, Beyonce,
Mhm.
um, Katy Perry. We used to look at their nails and be like, wow, these are things that nobody really saw before. If you look traditionally red carpet, it was short nails, manicured, maybe with a sheer color, maybe.
Mhm.
And now, because of the fashion designers, the celebrities bringing nails into their whole look, it has raised the profile of nails overall.
Mhm. Mhm. I could definitely agree with that. You see on the, like how you said, the red carpet, the fashion shows, the whole thing of fashion and nails combining, that's really cool. And one of my dreams was always to do nails for a fashion show and also to do nails possibly like for a nail magazine. Because I'm such a big fan of nail art, and I went to a university to expand my knowledge of art called the Savannah College of Art and Design, which is in Savannah, Georgia. And they have like three other different campuses, like in Atlanta, Hong Kong, and Lacoste. And so I went there like for illustration. They led me to understand different things like fibers, which is like yarn work, felting, crocheting, and things of that nature. So it's so cool that people use different things to apply to nails, like different mediums. So it's not just like paint, it's jewels, it could be
Yes.
yarn, it could be 3D gel. I'm a huge fan of gel. Gel is fantastic. And I wanted to ask you about behind the nail pros. So I know you've done a lot of those the videos with the behind the nail pros with different nail artists, and they do the fashion nail pro magazines. And I wanted to ask, what is like your top 5 favorite covers, and who are your favorite nail artists?
Oh, oh, that is so hard. Okay. So hard. All right. I will say that one of my favorite covers was it was because it was the very first one I did. It was January 2007.
Hmm.
And it was, I remember we took this model's hair, and the hairstylist took, like those U-shaped bobby pins, and
Hmm.
she wove the hair in between all through all of them, and then flat ironed it, and then pulled the pins out. And it was this crazy big curly hair. And it was a French twist on the nails. Lorena Marquez was, had been a NailPro Cup winner. And so
Hmm.
we invited her, and she did the nails for it. It was my I pretended as I'm a big fan of fake it until you make it, because I was not sure what I was doing. I had done photo shoots, but not a cover shoot with a model and the whole thing before.
Hmm.
It was an amazing experience. Lorena is super talented, so kind. She was so patient with me. So that one was very memorable. Um, Another favorite cover we did was Elaine Watson was the nail artist, and it was a summer cover. And the whole idea, it was a very beachy look. And so, we had beach waves in the model's hair, salt spray, a little bit of sand on our cheeks. But my favorite part was that the nails, and this goes back to what you were saying about all the different mediums that you can use to work with nails. She literally, Elaine coated the nails with actual sand. And it was so cool. It was a very fine sand, so it didn't make the nails really bulky.
Right.
And then there was one nail, the pointer finger, which was like a treasure chest nail. So it had every charm, pearl, bead, chain hanging off of it. The model's like this with the treasure chest, and then all of the sand nails, which I just thought was so cool. It was so imaginative
Hmm.
to um, take all these different mediums and pile them on a nail. I had certainly never seen anything like that before.
Hmm.
What else were some of my favorite ones? There were ones where we worked with some really talented nail artists who were excellent at hand painting. Oh gosh, who did we work with? Why am I blanking on her name? Oh, I'm terrible. It'll come to me. But we did this whole shoot paired with fashion and designer clothes and bags and accessories. And so she did all the nails, the famous Missoni zigzag print, and she painted it on the nails, and it was matched with a Missoni dress. There were, gosh, I feel like Gucci, were they Gucci? Yeah, like maybe Gucci sneakers. And she matched the floral print from the sneakers and the color tones on the nails. We did another one where it was, of course, we had Christian Louboutin shoes. And so she did black nails, and then underneath it was red, underneath the nail, just like the shoe. So it was very creative. And again, tying that fashion to nails.
Hmm.
Who else? So many amazing ones. We did a cover, oh God, Viv Simmons from Australia had done a number of covers for us. Her detail work is out of control.
It's
We
amazing.
did a cover where, amazing. It was Japanese inspired. It was like a sort of Japanese Zen garden. And she built a little bonsai tree onto the nail. There was a little like bridge that she had painstakingly sculpted out of acrylic, attaching the two nails. It was incredible.
I remember
Never
that.
seen anything like that.
That was
That was
so.
amazing. I wish I had one like that blown up, because it was amazing.
Hmm.
Um, there's a handful of them. Again, it's just all these different artists with their different abilities, doing amazing work.
Yeah,
So inspiring.
it's incredible. I just did an interview with Viv Simmons, and I'm so inspired by her work. Her work is, like how you said, it's amazing. And I was asking her about her favorite nail covers, and she talked about the Valentine's Day NailPro cover with her and Catherine Wong, and also
Yes.
another cover. I was telling her about this other cover that I love. It was Viv, Catherine, and it was Gina Silvestro.
Yes. It was the butterfly nails.
Yeah, it was.
Right? There were butterflies.
Yeah, butterflies and flowers. It was so beautiful. It was.
That was an amazing one. And that day was crazy because all three of them were flying in from different corners of the world on the same morning.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we got there, we were ready to go, and then the model never showed up. And so we had, at the last minute, we're like scrambling to find a model. This never happened. That was the one and only time that has ever happened in my 14 years of nail covers. Scrambling at the last minute to find a model. She came. I mean, I think that shoot went until after midnight. We were so loopy, but it turned out so beautifully.
Yeah, that was.
In fact,
that.
I wonder, I feel like maybe that was one of the.
It was like back.
I was wondering if that was one of the images. I have that cover. I can send it to you.
Okay, I think I have a picture of it already, so I should have it. And that one and the Valentine's Day one. The Valentine's Day one was great. That was awesome. I liked another cover.
Yeah.
From and I interviewed also Sam Biddle, and one of the nail covers I really liked from her was
Sam is amazing.
With like the vine and like the small roses. I was like, wow, it was
so beautiful. Sam also so talented, so wonderful, bringing such great education and knowledge to everyone in this industry. She's fabulous.
Yeah, it's really cool. And you gain so much inspiration from all these nail artists, especially me, like just artistically, and everyone has their own style. And it's really cool to see, people's artwork, shine through, in these nail covers, and the beauty of them is amazing. It's terrific. I wanted to ask you about the NailPro competitions. Now, how do those competitions work? So say, for instance, if it's somebody's first time competing and they want to compete in a NailPro competition or like in a NailPro Cup, like how does that whole process work?
So, obviously, because of the pandemic and with the postponement of all the shows, things are different, but I will speak to how it was before and hopefully how it will be again. But if you are interested in competing, it is a great way to basically sharpen your skills. And a lot of people, I think, look at nail competitions and think it's too extreme. That's not what I do. I work in the salon. I don't need that. But the thing that it does is that it really trains you on shape, structure, speed, because you have to get this all done in a certain time frame. So I highly recommend it. I think it is a great experience, certainly very humbling, but also really can stretch your skills and ability. Basically, you would need to find the competition that speaks to you and practice. So there are various types. There are Salon Success, which is a salon length nail, one hand in pink and whites, one hand polished red. I mean, they have nail art competitions, French twist, hand painted nail art, 3D nail art, whatever speaks to you. And you basically have to find a model, and on the day of the shoot, the day of the competition, you and your model show up, you get prepared, and you have, usually, depending on the competition, but roughly 90 minutes to complete the full set. Judges, look at everybody's and narrow it down until they decide the winners, first, second, and third place. And you start at the novice level, so you're not competing against these super talented, high-end, experienced nail technicians. You start with other techs who have not really, maybe they haven't done it before, or they're still, developing and learning their craft.
Mm,
um, I think it's a wonderful thing to try out. Again, it's all about, you have to practice though. You can't just go in. I've heard so many stories of nail professionals who think that they, especially in the salon success, they're like, I do great salon nails. I can just go in there, show up, and it'll be no problem.
mhm.
Um, you need to practice.
Yeah.
There are a number of past competitors who are always willing to help you out, to offer advice.
Mm,
The competition judges, Carla Collier, Jewel, if you reached out to them, they would be more than happy to give you some suggestions, help you, point you in the right direction, because there is a specific style that is competition style it's different than what you would find in the salon typically.
mhm.
But you can follow Nail Pro competitions on Facebook and reach out to them, and they always respond.
Oh, okay. That's very good information. I'm glad you said it takes practice. Don't just jump in it and be like, hey, I got this, you know? So that's very good
Yeah,
advice.
exactly. That's like, you wouldn't go into like, I dove off the side of the pool, in my backyard. That means I could jump into a diving competition. No, it's, it's completely different. You need to practice, you need to learn the style. But it's great for your technique and for your work overall.
Hmm. Yeah, because I'm competing in Nail Olympia, which is like a whole international nail competition.
Oh,
And
yes.
so I'm doing like the mixed media, and then I'm doing like the flat art box, which is like flat nail art, with acrylic paint or gel. And I said, okay,
Yeah.
I never competed before, but let me take this leap, so I can, learn from people around the world, but also, show off what I can do, show off, my art style.
Yep.
So, I'm very glad to have that opportunity to really compete and just get that exposure, and I remember doing the interview with Viv Simmons, and she was saying, sometimes, you know, for people, like some people competing may not be for them, you know, and it may be different factors, and it's understandable. But it's a good opportunity, it's just a competition. You learn from people. And what I've learned from Viv Simmons, she said, look for the silver lining, so even if you don't place, you know, what can you take away from it in a positive way? So
Mhm.
that's really cool to just have that opportunity for the first time to compete. And I want to
Absolutely.
I want to do like a little bit of a flashback because I'm not sure if you remember. Do you know Amy Becker?
Oh, yes. Love Amy.
Yeah, and
Oh, God, she did another wonderful set of nails for a Nail Pro competition. Sorry. She
yeah,
did a set once. God, they were little, it was based on chess pieces, and they were American Indians, and they, like, literally giant figures on each of the nails. It was incredible. Anyway,
yeah, it was. She's
continue.
incredible. She's an incredible nail artist too. And what I found the most memorable with her, I watched a video and she was doing these pink and whites. And I think it was like you had to do these pink and whites like within the fastest time, or whoever gets the fastest time,
Yes.
And
Yes.
when she had the fastest time, I was like, wow, that's incredible. And she even said like she had to practice way ahead of time before getting into the competition. So yeah, it does take practice and preparation before you seize that opportunity. And I
Oh,
want,
absolutely. I mean,
mhm.
continue. Sorry. I'll wait till you finish.
um, but yeah, I wanted to ask about the whole progression of the nail industry. What is your whole take of the whole progression from like how you first started getting into nail pro to now? What is your whole perspective on the nail industry, but also the beauty industry as a whole? And what do you think about the whole progression of it in terms of like the trends, in terms of the products that are out now? What is your whole take on that?
I think when I started in the industry, it still had that, again. that sort of back of the salon impression. You know, nails were still, obviously nails were popular. Everyone was getting their nails done. It was a great industry, but it still had that largely, the perception was, it was again, that sort of ugly stepchild of the rest of the professional beauty industry.
Mm-hmm.
And then came gel polish, the soak off gel, gelish, shellac, changed the industry entirely. It turned it upside down. And I really think that it was that moment that changed the industry from where I started to where I am now. Gel polish brought a resurgence that I had not seen. I mean, I don't think anyone really had seen in the nail industry since maybe the 80s, you know, early 90s. It brought people back into the salon. People who were not interested in going to the salon started coming back to it. It brought life to this industry. And again, because of that, and it drove product sales through the roof. And I think after that moment, all the nail manufacturers were constantly striving to find the next great thing. It was such a big wave. So what that did was bring new technology, new innovation to the industry, where now you're seeing so many different things, you know, gosh, brush on builder gel, you know, builder gel in a bottle. It brought nail art to the forefront. So then you started seeing, you know, chrome powders and Swarovski, who was only known for their jewelry and maybe their fashion, now has a whole line of crystals just for nails.
Exactly.
You know, I can't even think. There's so many things. I mean, remember stamping, nail stamping was so huge. Gel has come so far. You know, you've got the Japanese style and Korean style gels. You have hard gels, soft gels. You can do so much with it. Acrylic technology has come so far. Remember, you used to only have UV lamps, and now you can cure in, you know, 10 seconds, 30 seconds in an LED light. So I think it's been amazing. There's been far more innovations in the last 10 years in nails than there were probably in the 20 years before that. Even longer, maybe, you know? So it makes it exciting. I think that it really draws more people, young people, into the industry, not doing it because, you know, I don't know what I want to do with myself. I need a job. I'll go to beauty school. It's because someone like you who loves art and now realizes, hey, this is an opportunity to actually have a career and make money as an artist. And marrying those two things together. You don't have to be a starving artist, you know, painting in your basement. You know, you can actually have a career. And I think that is what has been the most amazing thing. But of course, you know, right now is sort of an interesting time too, because with the proliferation of social media, everybody thinks that they're a teacher and you can learn whatever you want online, and everyone is an influencer. So regardless of what kind of education or experience you have, if you are, you know, good enough on YouTube and Instagram, you can become an educator, and that's good and bad. I mean, it allows people who are really talented to really grow and share their craft with the masses. On the flip side, it also takes someone who is not good at the craft of nails, and they are now sharing poor information with the masses. So, you know, as all of these things progress, you know, there are pros and cons to it. I think ultimately the best thing is that nails are so popular. They're not shoved in the back corner anymore. It is a viable career. There's so many things you can do with it and be creative. And I think that is the positive.